We said Christianity did not come to bring laws, what is right and what is wrong. Christianity came to create a new man. This new man in him. Now verse 24 of Ephesians 4. And that you put on the new man. It's an order. Put on the new man. Now the word putting on. Here it does not mean same as putting on clothes. When St. Paul talks in Ephesians 4:24 that you put on the new man, putting on is not the same as putting on clothes, but rather like a bird putting on its feathers and the earth putting on its greenery. This is the meaning of putting on. Like the bird that puts on its feathers and the earth its greenery. Here we observe the following. The putting on comes from the inside, not the outside. Feathers are not glued on the bird from outside. Feathers come from inside the bird outside. This is putting on. So it's an internal action, not an external one. Put on the new man, meaning let this new man be born in you, created in you, in order to come out of you to the outside. This is putting on the new man. Being born into this new man. And that you put on the new man, meaning there is a true renewal from inside. A true renewal. We said Christianity did not come to bring laws, what is right and what is wrong. Christianity came to create a new man. This new man in him develops and grows principles that are capable of making that Christian family a successful one. Now, why we have to be born into this new man? Because, my beloved, any external principles, what do external principles do to the person? It conquers the person. They do not create a person. It conquers the person. Principles from outside are heavy, unwanted, because they are imposed upon us. Anything that comes from outside, we don't like. Why? Because it is imposed. You have to do this. You have to follow this rule. You have to go over there. You have to come over here. Anything that I have to is uncomfortable. I do not want it. I reject it. So external principles are laid heavily upon me. They do not create me. They enslave me, in fact. Enslave me. That's the best and the ultimate they can do. Christianity did not come to impose principles from outside. Christianity came to create a new human being. A new human being. This new human produces beautiful behaviors because the inside is created. It's not imposed anymore. It's a new creation. It comes from within. And anything that comes from within is natural. It's not unnatural. Anything that comes externally is unnatural, uncomfortable. But when it comes from within, it is natural. I'll explain it more to you for you to understand where I'm coming from. Imagine this with me. You know, especially in the Middle Eastern countries, years back, there was what they called arranged marriages. The parents choose your partner in life. Whoa! The poor guy, the first time ever, he would see what kind of a looks his future wife has is when he's already married. Tough luck, too late. He lifts up the veil and hope for the best. If she is Mariah Carey or some other one kind of scary. Imagine you don't love this person. You don't know this person, but mom and dad, especially dad, he will say, you listen to your dad and you will do accordingly. Else, whatever I say goes. You will marry this person and tough luck. Imagine you are living with someone you do not love. How are you going to last? It's hell. Why? Because it was a principle given from outside to you, i.e. imposed upon you, weighs heavily. I can't breathe. I'm imprisoned. I don't know what to do anymore. But when you choose your Rosella, Juliette, oh là là, impossible. Vous êtes très jolie et très gentil. When you choose, that wasn't French. When you choose, well, I have to speak all these channels because I've gotten people from Taxomic, Sweden. I'm getting people from Switzerland. I yet to learn a few words in that language. I have to learn more. So I'm trying my best. Habib Albi, that one easy. But imagine you choose the person. You fall in love with that person freely, naturally. You see, it's an internal principle. It's an internal principle. Internal principle is light. Internal principle is freedom. Internal principle is you, not someone you are pretending to be, which you can never be. Why? Because God never created you to be someone else but you. Christianity came to set you free, not impose upon you laws in order for you to do them, and if you don't, you are doomed. No. This is why Christianity is based on love. And that's why love is associated with a person, not a law. Law doesn't love you. You break the law breaks you. But the person that loves you, even if you break them, they will forgive you. Because they love you. But anyway, I mean well. But the ultimate is to kill the desire, because in that faith, in that belief, they think by killing the desire, then and then only you are free. You cannot kill what God has given you. So you are chasing something impossible to achieve. The law has no mercy. You break me, I'll break you. Non-negotiable. But a person, no. This is why Christianity is totally different to every other religion out there, with all love and respect. There's no comparison. Because all religions are to do with laws. The only faith in existence on earth that is to do with love is Christianity. Why? Because we're dealing with a person, and this person is the new creation, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. All glory to His holy and mighty name. You come to love this person, and when you accept this person is born in you. This person comes out of you from inside outside. The principles grow and are from within. That it is a natural instinct. It's a natural reaction. That's why with Jesus there is freedom. With Jesus there is prosperity. With Jesus there is enlightenment. With Jesus there is everything good that you could ever imagine. This new human produces beautiful behaviors because the inside is created according to God, according to the divine standards. And what are the divine standards? St. Paul says it, in true righteousness and holiness. This is the standard of this new creation that is created by God. This new man has to be walking in the truth and righteousness and holiness. The word righteousness we said it's the work of God. But it also means being in harmony with God. Because every time we do the work of God, we are in harmony with God. What pleases God, if we do something that pleases God, we are in harmony. If we do something that is displeasing to the Lord, there is no harmony. So righteousness is being in harmony with God. True holiness, holiness is what God desires from everyone. With all love and respect to the Dalai Lama, when this person asked this monk, he said, you left the world and the desires of the world to achieve the ultimate. And what is the ultimate? Is to kill desire. That's in Buddhism. What is the ultimate? Is to kill desire. Why? Because according to that faith, and I'm talking with love and respect, I'm just stating facts. Okay, please. I've had a couple of stabs. Oh, you can do it maybe, I don't know. But anyway, I mean well. But the ultimate is to kill the desire, because in that faith, in that belief, they think by killing the desire, then and then only you are free. Because desire apparently, according to that faith, brings you down. Why? Because desire chains you, locks you, enslaves you. I have a desire for this, I have a desire for that, I'm not free. Therefore, the moment you kill desire, you are then free. You become like a God. Not realizing desire is a God-given gift. You cannot kill what God has given you. So you are chasing something impossible to achieve. Holiness is God's desire. And with that desire, there is no motivation. How are you going to go forward if there is no desire? But the problem is, the problem is not in desire itself, but in the imbalancing of that desire. You need to have a balanced desire. You will chase holiness. Because when you let that new creation grow in you, He will teach you on how to desire holiness, which God desires. Righteousness, you are living in harmony with God. Holiness, you are living and walking in God's desire. And when God desires something and you do it, the rest is history. Therefore, it is not the fake holiness. Fake holiness is a result of submission to external principles which were imposed on the human to walk in. Some people fake it to live in holiness. It's ugly. This is what I call an oversaved Christian. Have you ever heard of this term, oversaved Christian? An oversaved Christian is like you're with them in Macca's, McDonald's. Old McDonald's had a farm. Yeah. So imagine you are with that oversaved Christian in Macca's. And then you say, man, I'm hungry. And he will say to you, this oversaved person will say, Jesus said, I am the living bread which descended from heaven. He who eats me shall never hunger again. Okay. Oh, I'm thirsty. Jesus said, I am the living waters. He who drinks me shall never thirst again. All right, bro, what's wrong with you? Oh, I don't know where the car keys are. Jesus said, you need the keys to enter God's kingdom. He said, I don't drive a kingdom. It can't fit in my garage. Relax. All I want is just a Big Mac and a big can of Coke. Don't act as if you are holy, faithful to the Lord. If you're faithful, keep it to yourself. Keep it secret between you and your sweetheart, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. You don't blow the trumpet and tell the whole world, hey, I'm here, I'm the Holy One. Well, you're not. That's fake holiness. When you are walking in true holiness, this is God's desire. God works in secret, not in the open. In secrets. The new person, the new human created according to God, in whom all divine principles and standards lie and complete in him. This person is Jesus Christ of Nazareth. This is the standard of God for every human being to be like Jesus Christ. This is the only man that walks in true righteousness and holiness.